Disney and Pixar have finally announced what's going on with a movie that was supposed to come out 2 months ago. Well, it turns out it's got two more directors, a new star, and we're going to talk about Elio and everything else out of the Pixar panel here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is a render man, Mr. VashSky. Vash, are your splines reticulated today?
I think so. Jonas, I'm pretty good at following you, but I gotta be honest, I'm not following you.
I'm not sure I follow me either, but instead of trying to guess at what terms might be used in 3D animation, RenderMan is a software, right? Let's talk about Elio. Elio has added a pretty good-looking aunt here to the cast. New. Zoe Saldana is joining the cast of Pixar's Elio in theaters June 13th of 2025. There she is, a woman who is in all of the highest grossing films of all time, those being Avatar, Avatar 2, Avengers Endgame. It's a shame she's not in Star Wars here, because I don't know if she's a lucky charm or if it's just her scenes where she happens to appear just really push those things over the edge, but maybe Elio will join that list of huge box office hits that are under Zoe Saldana's belt. In addition to that, here's a story out of Laughing Place. Pixar shares Elio update reveals new cast member during D23 Ultimate Fan Event. You know one of them already. Zoe Saldana coming into the cast. This is a new picture from the movie, which is about a young boy becoming the representative for Earth to aliens. This actually had a trailer out already, which is fascinating to think about. The big reveal during the event was obviously Zoe Saldana playing Elio's aunt, Olga, which this indicates to me that if you're adding her in after the movie was supposed to already be done, I'm going to say reshoots. Also, maybe if you noticed, I've said this a few times, the movie was supposed to come out 2 months ago. So maybe pushing it back and replacing it with Inside Out 2 might be an indication that this is a quote unquote troubled production. Anyhow, Elio was originally slated for release in March of 2024, maybe more than 2 months ago, but was delayed for over a year, partially due to many ongoing strikes in Hollywood at the time. Is that what it was? However, the official description shared when the original teaser was released said directed by Adrian Molina and produced by Mary Alice Drum, who they were both involved with Coco. The film features the voices of America Ferrara. Olga is Elio's mom, Olga. Oh, so does this mean America Ferrara is no longer in the movie if the aunt is named Olga? Jameela Jamil as Ambassador Cuesta, Brad Garrett as Ambassador Grygon, Jonas Kibrieb as the title character. Now it reads, directed by Madeline Sharafian and Domee and Adrian Molina. So we've gone from 2 directors to 3 directors. Domee, obviously from Turning Red and Bao. Bao is one of the best Pixar shorts of the recent era. It was brain breaking for one of my kids. Actually shouted out in the theater. We told him not to do that anymore, but it was a very funny moment. This to me is fascinating. Aunt Olga, voiced by Zoe Saldana. So did they kick America Ferrara out of this film?
I'm really not sure about that. That's the first time I'm hearing about it. I do know that the trailers for Elio have already started to play in front of films at the theaters, and it made maybe a little headway, but not necessarily regarded as groundbreaking or game-changing, or not a lot of anticipation for this specific film. However, I will say, after the footage was shown to D23 Honda Center attendees, it does seem that the reception improved. A lot of people were saying, oh yeah, this is actually looking like a pretty good film now. So maybe things have changed, and maybe those changes might be reflected in box office when this actually comes out.
And I'm just going to point out this. They pointed out something that I love to show people. The original teaser for Elio is still up. I'm going to mute this because we don't really need it on screen here. But if we go to the end of this here, by the way, this is a great little moment. You should go check out this teaser here if you can. Only in theaters, spring of 2025. 2024. So
Oops.
a little bit of history still left up there. It wasn't the only update from Pixar. If you go over to this one, David M. Lally, who is apparently also at D23. Let's see. Yeah, he's a producer at Pixar and of the Spark shorts. And he says that Win or Lose is going to be showing the first 2 episodes at D23 here. And we did see the trailer for Win or Lose. I'm waiting to see what happens with this one. I don't know if it got delayed because of there being a quality issue, or as many things from Disney Plus get delayed for budgetary reasons, so they don't hit in the wrong quarter. I wonder if this got pushed back because Disney Plus needed to make sure that they hit their numbers for that quarter. And putting in a production like Win or Lose, you would have to assign all of the costs to that quarter. So right now, while Disney Plus and Hulu combined are still at a deficit of 19 million a quarter, and those are only boosted up by ESPN making money mysteriously, having this hit would obviously push them in the wrong direction. The way that like The Acolyte coming out would push it down $200 million. So Win or Lose, that was also announced at the panel. Obviously, other Pixar productions were also introduced at that panel. And let me see here if I can bring some of them up. Here we're going back to Scott Gustin. Pixar announced a film called Hoppers, a new original film coming in 2026. The main character is a girl, and she is able to hop her mind into the mind of a beaver. And that beaver is voiced by Bobby Moynihan. So I don't know if that means that the girl will be voiced by Bobby Moynihan, but I'm not gonna lie, that actually sounds pretty hilarious to me because Bobby Moynihan is hilarious, but it's also weird. So, Vash, what are your thoughts on Hoppers?
This is such a weird one to me. I really don't know what to make of this. Hopping into the mind of a beaver, Hoppers. I mean, this is coming from Pixar, who also produced A Bug's Life, whose villain was famously named Hopper. So a lot of people have been making those comparisons online, and to great amusement. I'm really gonna have to see a lot more from this. And also, it kind of doesn't it kind of sound like some of the subplot from Soul as well? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good point, which is obviously about a man whose soul ends up in a cat, and the cat's soul ends up, man. I watched Soul and I gave it my full attention, and I still left that one a little bit confused. But
Okay.
hopefully, this one, I think this reads more like a comedy here. Obviously, if it's Bobby Moynihan, I think it's going to be more in that comedy centered area. It'll be interesting to see what they have. When Pixar does original stuff, it tends to be better. I mean, Luca was original, and I like that one a lot. I think Luca's the best thing that they've made since John Lasseter left the company. But there are also other projects. Vash, you have anything you want to say about Hoppers before we move on to one more?
I'm going to need to see a lot more footage from this. There is some artwork floating around there as well. If I can track it down, I will include it in this video right here, or a link to it that you can kind of see and get a feel for what they're going for here. We're going to need to see more. An interesting idea, that's for sure. And hey, it is an original film, which, by the way, at this entertainment panel, which this was premiered at, not a lot of that going around the entire Walt Disney Company. So I'll say that for it.
Yeah, there's another idea that was put forward here that is maybe not on that original side. The first logo was revealed for Dream Productions. This is supposed to be about Riley's dreams from Inside Out. This is something they kind of explored a little bit in the first Inside Out, and also a little bit in Inside Out 2. This is one where they can just kind of play in that space here. I'm not really thinking this is going to be world changing here. If it has the same lighthearted sense of humor as like a Forky Asks a Question, those are actually pretty great. My favorite of those is the one that has Mel Brooks, or the one where they ask what is a computer, and I think it is mostly focused on British soap dramas or evening drama, so kind of funny in that way. So if they go for humor, I think it's going to be good. If they go for just random shorts, I'm not really looking forward to that. So there are other videos that we're going to have that are focusing on the larger aspects of the Pixar panel, but for now, this is the and the rest video here that we have going. Hoppers, obviously Elio, Dream Productions, and Win or Lose. Is there anything else that we missed from that panel, Vash?
I don't think so. I think that was just about it for the Pixar section. I will include here as well, we have a number of videos coming out of all the D23 coverage. I want to go ahead and include Zootopia in this as well. We weren't able to include that in any other forum, so we'll include it right here. It's, it's animation Pixar adjacent, I guess. This coming from Disney Animation itself. It looks like it got a new star for that we just got confirmed. Jonas, do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. He's one of my favorite actors to make a resurgence in the recent era. Apparently, he was working as a stuntman for quite some time, but Ke Huy Quan, otherwise known as Short Round, otherwise known as OB on Loki Season 2, otherwise known as the husband in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think he was in that one too. He is going to be joining the cast of Zootopia 2 as a snake. And he's kind of scary looking, but I imagine it's going to be played up that he's really scary looking. But he sounds like Ke Huy Quan. Man, I love that guy. He's just got a great demeanor. So that should be interesting as well. Oh, and of course, there is also an original Disney animation coming in 2026. Who knows what it's going to be? Disney animation really needs to prove itself. Between Pixar and Disney animation, my money's more on Pixar these days. Pixar is showing that they're making the steps here to revive that brand, whereas Disney animation, betting big on that Jennifer Lee. Ooh, all right. We'll see how that works out for them. So with that being said, we want to throw this to our commenters. What do you think of Elio? And have you seen the trailer that's out there? Have you seen the new footage? Because apparently Disney is just letting people post whatever they want to Twitter these days and not having it taken down. Let us know your thoughts on all of that in the comment section down below. If you don't mind, if you could hit that like button, it does help out the channel. And of course, it would be really great if you could come back and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.